everyone, welcome back to the Bees Show, the human experience, and we are back with another enticing episode. As usual, my name is Bright George. I'm the host for this show, and guess what? I'm not alone, of course. My co-host is here.
Hello everyone, I'm Glory John. Welcome to the B Show. I hope you'd enjoy this amazing episode that we have, and we are not alone.
Of course, we are not alone. We are here with a very beautiful guest, and this particular lady is going to. You don't have to miss out on anything she's going to say. We are here with beauty and brains. That's what they call it.
Hold your ears.
Do you understand? Beauty and brains, because she's coming with whole lot. Like oh my goodness, I am so happy that she is here. Okay, so let's go in and introduce our beautiful guest. I don't want to mention her position because she's a big woman. Hello, Mercy.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Bright and Glory.
Hi, Mercy. As you can even hear from the way she's speaking that she's not even here to.
She's a soft girl.
Yeah. Do you think?
Soft lady.
Mercy, are you a soft girl? Nah.
Well, it all depends on what you mean by the word soft.
Okay, don't go there. All right, Mercy, you're welcome to our show. How do you feel, to be here today?
I feel good. I feel excited.
That's Mercy, of course, Mercy. And I'm so happy that you're here because, having a genius like you is something I've been looking forward to as well. So let's talk about God. Who is God to you? How do you see God from your own perspective and your experiences with God?
How I see God.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able to describe God because first of all, I see him as indescribable. To every person, every individual, God is different to every person. The way you see God might be very different from how I see, depending on my relationship, how he has been there for me and also how he has been there for you. So I see God as indescribable. He's always there. He knows the beginning from the end.
Of course.
Even before we were made, he was there, and he has the whole world in his hands. So if you ask me to describe God, I don't think I would have the right words to use and describe
Of course, no.
But to me personally, I think I'm one lady that God has helped, that God has come through for. I've seen God's faithfulness upon my life, so I don't take him for granted, and I think that's all I can say for now.
Okay, so let's talk about how God has come through for you in several occasions. While you take us through your journey as a child, how was it when you grew up? The whole experience, was it fun? How was life generally? What groomed you to this beautiful young lady that you are today?
Growing up was fun, and I said was because it's a mixed feeling.
Okay.
Growing up, I had lots of experiences that when I look back and I talked about my relationship with God, I just judged God faithful because it's been him all along. Growing up, I had the best parents anybody could ask of.
Okay.
My mom was a teacher, and my father was he was working with a company before the company folded, and then he had to start driving his personal car.
Okay.
For town service. But then I didn't lack anything as a child. I had parents who loved themselves so much, and once upon a time I was an only child for about 8 years, and I saw the love, I saw the commitment, I saw the efforts they both put together to ensure that I had everything at my beck and call. At some point, some people felt okay, they were spoiling me or something.
Okay.
But I know my mom would never want to see me lack anything, including my dad. Education-wise, I think they gave me the best they could. And my mom also ensured that she inculcated in me the knowledge I needed, being a teacher.
Okay.
And she ensured even church, should I say religiously, I was very active in church. We were members of the Apostolic Church 65 on Bise Road. I grew up in Imo State.
Okay.
And so I was a member of the choir as well as what we used to call Band of Hope back then.
Okay.
Children were groomed and all of that then, until tragedy struck in 2004. There was my mom took in again after 8 years. She got pregnant again after 8 years, and then when she was giving birth to my younger sister, she passed on. I was in primary 3 then. It was tough time for me because
I can imagine.
it's fine. I was so used to her.
Yeah.
We had this relationship.
I know, right?
And being that I was an only child, so she was everything I've got. I watched her go through series of pains during miscarriages and all of that, and how people would often say some things to her. And I made it a duty that each time she got pregnant, I would pray, and as God could have it, that particular baby stayed. And when she was about to give birth, she told me, "You will be going on long vacation in Umuahia. You go and stay with my brother. I don't want you to stay here while I give birth. When you come back, you see your baby sister." So that was it. She had bought things, and then we stocked up the house with a lot of baby things and all of that. Unfortunately, that very day, I had a dream. In that dream, I saw somebody waving me goodbye, and then I saw it, although they didn't tell me, because the next thing I saw was my uncles going to the market to buy black material. And they had sold. I even told them, "Oh, I love to do the uniform with you people," not knowing that it was my mom's burial uniform. Nobody told me. So I was about 8 years plus, almost 9 years old. And on that very day, they told me we are going to the village, and I was wondering why everybody was wearing black. Up until I saw the poster, the burial poster, and I was still in Umuahia. From Umuahia, I went to Akwa Ibom for the burial. So I saw my dad in a very terrible state. The love they had, the bond they had, was something that I wish to have a man that would love me the way my dad loved my mom, because they had this bond. They bonded. I never see them fight or quarrel with each other. Even if they did, it didn't pass a day, a night, they would reconcile their differences. And so it was a tough time for my dad, and I watched him shed tears. And after that, I had to come back. I refused going back to Umuahia with my uncles. I felt like if I left my dad again, he was going to die, because I always thought that probably if I was around, probably my mom wouldn't have died. That's one thing I always had as at that time. Yes. So I felt like I would have done something, and probably she wouldn't have died. She would have survived. So I refused going back to Abia State with my mother's people. So I went back with my dad. It was difficult for my dad to take care of me, because at that time it was about me entering primary 3. The next term I was supposed to go to the new class, primary 3. So when I came back, first few weeks with my dad alone was something else.
I know.
He couldn't really cope with preparing me for school and all of that. So he sent me somewhere to a family friend's house, and something happened when I got there. I stayed there for only 2 days, and then the father of the house, that's the man, called my dad and said, "Look, your daughter cannot continue staying here." It's not as if I was really eating their food or something, because my dad would always, buy me food to school and bring foodstuffs too. So whatever was his reasons, I do not know. So my dad told me, "Go in, pack your things," and I asked him, "Where are we going to?" And he told me, "Don't you have a house?" Because the loneliness was eating me up. Imagine my dad going out and coming back in the night, and I am alone, all alone in the house. So it was one of the reasons why he had to send me there, so that I will have company. Losing your mom at that age and trying to get back and everything. You need people around you, and it was just me and my dad. So when I got back, it changed a lot of things about me. I started getting angry easily. That was when I started having temperamental issues, like little things get me pissed. Yes. Even my class teacher noticed it, and she was like, "You were not like this." And I looked at her, and in my mind I was like, if only you know the pain and the trauma I am going through. And then each time somebody did something to me, I felt like, oh, if my mom was here, she wouldn't have done something. So it was something like that. So at that point, I started losing interest in church things and church activities and all that. I just felt, okay, God wasn't fair. Even at that, my dad kept encouraging me. And fast forward to 5 years later, Okay, meanwhile, my younger sister was with my.
I was about to come
Yeah,
into that.
yeah.
Where was
Where
your
was
younger
your
sister that they gave birth to? Because
Okay.
I'm not.
She was with my mother's sister. They had taken her to my mother's sister, so she
Okay.
stayed there till she was about a year old
Okay.
or so. She was about 2 years when my father brought her back.
Okay.
So when my father brought her back, by then I was in JS1 when my father brought her back. I just gained admission to secondary school JS1. That was a big girl kind of.
I know.
So I was taking care of her. Yes, I was
Okay.
taking care because after my mom died, I entered primary 3, primary 4, primary 5. I skipped
6.
class again. I had gone to Umuahia after that. Yes, I left. I went on a holiday again to Abia State, and they said I should not go. I should let my dad stay since it's always difficult for me to stay alone. So they wanted to take care of me over there. And then it got worse because at that time my 3 uncles were maltreating me.
Oh.
Yes, and it got bad that my teacher had to call one of them to ask why. I don't know whatever reasons he gave, but I don't know what happened then. But my father had to come back
And pick you
me
again.
So when I came back, I skipped classes and then I entered primary 6. I think I did primary 6 second term or third term or so, but I got admission into secondary school.
Okay.
So fast forward to that time, my sister came back
in.
and joined us. After she joined us, she started nursery 1, and my father started thinking of getting married again. That was about 5 years after, and then boom, he got married again. And just when I was thinking, okay, everything is fine, everything is okay, one morning after we traveled, we left my father in Owerri. We came for Christmas holiday here in the village, my village Owana. So he was supposed to come on 29th December because there is this event, this youth day they always do, and he loves the cultural displays. My father loved cultural stuff. If he comes to Akwa Ibom, he's always coming back with a cassette, the CD plate, a cultural CD plates to play back in the house, and he loves to dance. All these Akokon Epo and the rest.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when I looked forward to seeing him and he was not forthcoming, we didn't know what was happening. So I called and he didn't pick. The next day he managed to come around. And lo and behold, I asked him what happened. He said something slapped him. And then we noticed that his cheek had turned to this other side. That was the beginning of the whole issue. And then he fell ill. We started taking him from one place to the other, hoping that he would get better. I got bad that I couldn't cope again. My stepmother was heavily pregnant at that time. Yeah, so she went back to the village. It was just my sister and I. Yes, in Owerri. Nobody. We were still living in the house where we were.
Where was your father now?
He had gone back to the village.
Okay.
We were carrying him. We were taking him from one place to the other to seek medical help, even churches and anything that money had finished. In fact, nobody cared about us again, whether we survive or not. And at that point, my father called one day and he said, "Take your sister to Port Harcourt." His sister's daughter was there. So I took my sister to Port Harcourt and I came back to school. I'll let me not forget, when I gained admission, I was on scholarship from JS1 to SS3. Okay. So that was how I was able to
go through that.
So at that point, I would go to school and I would eat, and then I would bring back food from school to my sister before I finally sent her to Port Harcourt. So I was the only one left, and then I developed health issues. I would stay and I would slump because I fell into depression at that point. I would just stay and I would slump. So I was placed on Tegretol and some other medications, and then I had to involve my mother's family, the people I had left that time and came back to.
You had to
involve
them again.
Yes. So this time they were good. They really tried this time around. Yes, because it's as if they became everything I had as at that time. And then finally my father gave up the ghost. One of those Saturdays, I was trying to come down from the pavement and I hit my leg. And I told my friend, I said, "This is not normal. I've been feeling very uneasy." And they didn't tell me the same thing that happened the last time until Monday morning. My father died on Saturday about 9 a.m. on 27th of March 2012. And then nobody told me. On that Monday morning, I had exams to write. I was about my SS2 second term exams. I had exams to write that morning. So people kept calling me, hey, yeah, sorry. And I was like, why
What's
are you telling me
happening?
sorry?
Why
What?
they tell
So
me
people that have
sorry?
not called me for a long
Yeah.
time, they kept calling me, and I was wondering what was going on.
Okay.
So finally, somebody now opened up, and I broke down. I broke down to the extent that when I got to school, I couldn't stay in the assembly ground. I had exams to write down. I think I had about 2 papers that day to write. So my principal asked me, will you be able to write? And I said yes, I will write. Even though I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to write. I had to write. And then that very day, something happened. My school had a boarding house, and that boarding house, they almost wanted to close it up. They've just been selecting some students from those that stay outside Imo State, like Abuja. But
Okay.
it was strictly on, and I don't even know how to put it. It was strictly on referral.
Okay.
Or for those children, those students
stay
that
far.
yes, they are far,
Okay.
and most of them came from orphanage homes.
Okay.
They didn't have anybody
Okay.
to take care of them. So my school said, okay, you become a boarder, you have to join them. That was the first miracle that happened. Yes, and then that was it. And so I wrote my exams. I think throughout my stay in Lucha Foundation College, I had the best result that particular term.
I know, right?
I had to read. I read like I poured out all the pain into my
the book. I think
read
that was
and I
needed.
made one of my best results ever. And then so after that we went for the burial, and I came back, and I from the proceedings I got from the burial, I managed to sew my day wear, and I came back. That's how I became a boarding student in my school. So I stayed there till I graduated. Each time we're on holiday, I'll go back to Abia State. My maternal uncle, they were nice to me. They took care of me till I got admission to the university. Yes, which they also sponsored part of it there. So that's it.
It's
very
so
touching and a great story.
it's so emotional.
So how did you cope at each stage? Like you went to university. Did
Yes,
you
I
have
went
your
to-
maternal and paternal family supporting you fully?
My maternal
Or-
family, yes. My paternal family didn't know till I graduated from school, and they don't even know. Even after the burial, I was expecting them to ask me, okay, how would you go to school?
Yeah,
How
none of
would
that.
you? Nobody asked me anything. They didn't even care where I was going to. I was going to survive. All they were after was the money, the things that they could actually
Get from
all of that.
You know, I do feel that this thing is a movie where it only happens in movie.
It happens
where
in real
where
life.
if your somebody is dead,
Yes,
they will go to go and claim
everybody
property.
claim clothes,
So it-
everything.
Clothes.
Yes, clothes. Yes, clothes.
The thing is, even with the property, nobody cared about the property. The property, I don't know if people living around there had taken it, because
Okay.
the same place where we were living when I left to school, I left just with my clothing and my books
Yeah.
to school. So nobody actually came for the property. People that were around were just making use of the foam, like the bed, and some of them I packed it under the staircase.
Okay.
So even the freezer and the fridge and everything, the chairs, I don't know. I just left it there. I was like, what's the need? I don't have where to keep these things. So probably by now people must have shared it
Yeah.
amongst themselves.
They will share.
Yes.
They
So
will
that's
share.
it. The properties that they actually came for were the ones in the village, like the palm plots and the farmlands.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the ones that we had in Owerri, nobody came for it.
Okay. So that's actually a very gee, no look I'm like that. Come on, eyes small.
I'm touched.
If you hear story, come on, eye. Why you dey look am like that? Messi, how were you able to overcome your fears, please? Because like how did you thrive?
This is a
through-
strong personality.
Do you get? Because like how did you manage it? You know, what kept you going? What kept you
With the fact that she had the best results that period too.
that leave results matter first.
How were you reading?
How did you do it? Like, how did you keep going despite all these challenges, all these, you know, what was that thing that was pushing you from the inside, you know?
If there is anything I could say was a push or was a motivation, would be one thing. I just want to make my parents proud. I want them to look at me from wherever they are and they are like, yes, well done. We are proud of you. And I'm very sure that I can beat my chest today and say that wherever they are
They're proud of
looking
you.
at me, if they can't see me, they are really proud of me.
Of course.
Because aside all of that, I have been through a lot, even recently, and I'm just hoping and praying to God that soon all of that will be all over. Yes, because it's not been easy, especially being a mother to my sister.
Yes.
Even at the point she
Yeah.
was very sick, because she's still sick now. And I'm hoping that pretty soon God will
God will
perfect all that
stabilize
concerns
everything.
her. Yeah, because it's not easy. It would hit me so hard if I lose her, considering the circumstances surrounding her birth and the fact that I've already lost 2 family members. And losing her would be really so painful. So that's why I'm praying to God, and I'm hoping that soon
God
the whole
stabilizes
storm will
everything.
be over. Yes,
Amen.
because it's not easy to battle brain tumor, having 5 surgeries in less than 1 year, and then the tumor is said to be cancerous and stage 3, that's grade 3, choroid plexus carcinoma, and then she has to undergo radiotherapy, and I'm trying to raise the funds for the radiotherapy, which I've not been able to. I've spent over 8 million naira on her, and it's seeming like, you know, sometimes when I wake up, like few days back, and I saw how she was reacting, I just know, okay, these are the symptoms, they are coming again. Mercy, you have to do something. You don't have time. It's more than 7 weeks post surgery, or 9, almost getting to 9 weeks post surgery. She had last December, and the doctor is telling me, Mercy, you need to do something. You need to raise money and take her for this radiotherapy. And how much am I looking at? Over 4 million naira, and I don't even know how to raise it. So, looking at all of that, I'm just hoping that at this point, it's only God that can do it, because cancer is not something that anybody should have or should face. It's a monster.
It's traumatic.
A few days ago,
It
they
is.
celebrated World Cancer Day, and I had to stop and then take a look at some people's experiences and look at people going through chemo and radiotherapy, and I look at their story, and then I will turn and look at my sister, and she doesn't even know why I look at her. I look at her not knowing what would happen, what would be the outcome of the chemotherapy and radiotherapy on her, not knowing if it will actually kill the cancer cells, not knowing what it would actually look like. And she's all about, I want to go to school, my mates are already in school, and I'm like, okay, calm down. When you have life, there is hope.
There is hope.
And I pointed out to her some of her classmates that had died. About 2 of them are dead, and I told her, each time we talk about not being in school yet, remember that you have lost 2 of your classmates. Remember that it could have been you. You know what you've been through. Having 5 brain surgeries in less than a year, it's not something that, it's not, I don't know how to put it, but then it's been God. The last time she came out, and the whole machines that were put on her, and she was in ICU, and she came out the next day. That same day, she opened her eyes and she spoke. And I was like, if there's anybody, like I said earlier, if there's anybody that God loves, it is me, because I've seen him come through for me at every point. As at the time the doctor said I should bring her in November, and as first week of December, I didn't have a dime. I didn't have up to, but within
God
two
made a
weeks,
way.
I was able to raise over 2.something million naira, which I had used for that particular procedure. It was about 2. She had 2 surgeries in the space of 1 month.
Man,
surgery. So
that's a lot.
that's a lot.
That's a
So
lot.
each
That's
time
a lot.
I look at her, and I just have to be strong, because at this point, if there's anything greater than being strong, I think that's what I need right now.
Okay.
Yes. So there's nothing I've not faced. I have faced storms, and I come out,
And you come out of it.
yeah, because I know a master of storm, the one that says peace be still, and you see the storm
Yes.
calm.
He's
So
with you.
that's just it, basically.
Okay, so let's Mercy. I mean, this is a whole lot to
take
process.
in.
This is a whole lot to process. I mean, this has been quite a handful for you. You know, this whole procedure. But one thing I do know is that God keeps somebody alive for a reason. Do you understand? I don't believe God is keeping this Mercy for just a show. I feel there is something bigger out there for her to do, because that's one thing about God. He keeps you for a reason, probably for his name to be glorified in whatever is happening. You get, but God, God thinks bigger than us. I cannot even, like she said, God is indescribable. We can't even go into that. But man, that has been a handful.